Welcome, everybody, to NAB Stadium in Auchenflower for another presentation of the Basketball Queensland QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media, Australian Sports Network, Stream Team Australia, and, of course, our major sponsor, the Illume Group. I'm John Guarna, and I'm joined this afternoon by Dave Derwin and Regan Baker. We've got a contrast on the ladder in this game, folks. We've got the undefeated Brisbane Capitals sitting way up top in the #1 slot, taking on a Gladstone Port City Power team that's sitting closer to the bottom of the ladder. In saying that, this should be a competitive game. Dave, what does Gladstone have to do to spring the upset this afternoon?
Well, probably the first thing they need to do is give Justin Baker a jersey, and that might help them. I think they're an import down today, so that already hurts them sitting at 1-10, and without another import, probably means it's going to be a tough game for them today. But I think, again, with this Brisbane team, I think tempo is the big part for them, controlling the tempo, and also putting some pressure on their front court, because Will Magnay's there and Volkman, obviously. Carter's injured. But if you can get the big guys injured, then you can look to attack them a little bit from within, and I think that might be a strategy for Gladstone. They got some good size with some of their guys, Kerr, Paul Lear, obviously, as well. So interesting to see how it plays out. And
Brisbane, probably a bit of a surprise, I think, for some people still sitting at this point, undefeated, really unchallenged at the moment. We haven't really seen anybody really push them so far in this season. Obviously, they have a couple of injuries with Zach Carter out, and then they're going to have a few big outs coming up soon. Will Magnay got named in the World Uni Games team, so he'll be away overseas in Naples, Italy. Go figure. Then you also have Ben Volkman going on a European vacation for a few weeks. That can really affect things. They really cannot afford to come out today and lay an egg.
Yeah, and I think, for them, obviously they've been playing pretty good ball, and we talked about them. I think covered them game one, and the key I said was they're clearly the most talented group 1 through 12 in the league, in my opinion. And so for them, obviously, it's an opportunity for the depth to get tested and get guys in, because they've just seemed to find guys like Stoddart's had a big game, or Davis has had a good game off the bench, or Wilson's been good off the bench. So they just sort of find their starting five is elite, and then their bench comes in and chips in as well. So, they thoroughly deserve where they are on the ladder. But equally for Gladstone, there's always a good opportunity to take it to #1 and knock them off.
Just before we get started, guys, just want to remind you, I mentioned it in our previous game, and I will mention it again here today. There is a GoFundMe account set up for our friend Narelle Kelly. She's in for the fight of her life. She's recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she has set a goal of raising $50,000. So any and all contributions are welcome. We please ask you to dig deep to contribute to Narelle's GoFundMe fund. Search Go Get Well Narelle on the GoFundMe website and help get Narelle Kelly well, and really make any contribution is welcome. So please dig deep and dig deep often if you can.
Yeah, Narelle, John, has obviously been a big part of BQ and the Bullets over the years, so hopefully people can help her out.
I hope so too. And if you are tuning into the game on YouTube or Facebook, please let us know in the comments who you are, where you're watching from, so we can get you a shout out as we're underway here. Jason Kadee has it for Brisbane, finds Anderson on the wing. Kopskis in the corner, fires the three. That one rattles in. That's a good start for Brisbane. Kopskis really hasn't had to shoot the ball too often. Step back jumper is up and good for Blanchard. Gladstone on the board here, down 1. Kadee skips it. Kopskis again for 3. That's up off the side of the rim. Well, Troy Robinson rebound.
Kind of lucky, because I'm still trying to work out if they're in a man or a zone, because it looks like they were in a zone the first time, and then I think there was confusion because they went to a man, and two guys are sitting under the rim.
Good finish there from Kyle Tipeny. Nice little Euro into the floater as Magnay goes right to the rim, loses it on the way up. And Tipeny recovers for Gladstone.
Well, they're going to have to clean up that zone if...
Good block there from Volkman.
If they can have any success today, Johnny, they just walk straight down the middle. Magnay didn't even put a move on. And I think Paul Lear got a strip. But the guards have got to do a better job of protecting the paint.
Mr. Gladstone himself, Troy Robinson, back on the court. Back at it again for another season. Grabs the offensive rebound. Pass is well read by Aaron Anderson. He gets the tip and steal and lays it up and in. Here comes a bit of pressure from Brisbane. Kopska's picking it up full court. Blanchard beats him. Now Alier wants it. Guarded by Magne. He'll fire the baseline jumper. It's off. Volkman grabs the defensive rebound. Kadee, no-look pass inside. Magne recovers. And back down, goes to the right hand. Hook shot up and in. Will Magne has been an absolute revelation for the Brisbane Capitals this season. It's like night and day from what we saw in 2018, Dave.
Yeah, he's been really solid. I think something like 14 and 9 for him for the season, and him and Magne have been terrific in their front court.
Alier missed. Ball went out of bounds off of Gladstone, so it's going to stay Brisbane ball. Kopskas again open for three. That one in and out. Alier grabs the defensive rebound. Couple shot outs on the YouTube channel as Tipani again gets to the rim to lay it up and in. Really nice finish there from Tipani. Couple shout outs to Rodney Anderson tuning in on the YouTube channel. Also Barry Maluga turning in, telling us let's go Power. A few Gladstone fans. As Magne goes right at Alier. He misses, but he's fouled. As Alier contested the layup.
Thought it was pretty well defended, but a little bit of contact.
Magne at the free throw line. Talking before the game, the women's game actually, with a couple of the Capitals assistant coaches, and really anticipating to see, I know personally I'm anticipating to see Will Magne get some more minutes for the Brisbane Bullets. You look at the roster as it's put together so far, and it's really shaping up for him to have a big opportunity for some quality amount of minutes.
Yeah, well, it certainly looks like it'll be a Hodgson-Magne 5 spot and import 3, import 4 for the Bullets, you'd think. And so, yeah, great opportunity.
Pass from Robinson, stolen by Anderson.
Yeah, good pass from Alier to Robinson.
Kadee gets the finger roll to fall, plus the foul. That's a tough one, Dave. That hit the side of the rim and still rolled in.
The Tony Kukoc roll. I've never seen the ball go under the rim and somehow go in as much as Tony Kukoc could do it.
Well, Kadee did it right there, and Kadee has been excellent for the Capitals as well. He's been a huge part of this surge in the start of the season for Brisbane.
Yeah, he has. I actually thought he would have shot the ball a bit better for the season, because he's only 34%, and I say only, I guess from an elite point of view, for an elite point guard in this league, especially because Brisbane has been relatively dominant, I would have thought he would have shot it a little bit better.
Good move and finish there from Magne. And Coach Cooper has seen enough. He's going to take a timeout. We're going to take a quick one as well. 6:20 to go in the first quarter. Brisbane's up 7 on Gladstone in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower. 7 points the lead for the Capitals up on the Gladstone Port City Power Surge. Good time out there by Coach Cooper. You got to think Davey's talking defense there, because it's been a bit loose on the defensive end for Gladstone.
Yeah, it has, and I think equally too, Paul Alear has having a great season and is a really quality QBL player. But I think they might need to send some help in order for the Magnay-Alear matchup.
So the depth up front for Gladstone isn't really where it needs to be, as Young floats one up over Magnay, misses, gets his own rebound. Good footwork, nearly finished. Alear lost it out of bounds. It went off of Volkman. It's going to stay with Gladstone.
Yeah, well, Young's going to have to. He's going to have to maybe check the scouting report and realize that there's Magnay and Volkman under the rim, and the pump fakes might not work today.
There's Alear with the floater, gets it to fall. Good finish there from Paul Alear. Gladstone trails by 5. Kadee dumps it off. Volkman lost it on the way up, recovers. Now Anderson loses it out of bounds.
And a better job from Robinson and Alear in that defending the low block. Then again, just basically moving his feet as the as the offense came. He did a good job of meeting him and then walled up, and Alear was helping out as well. So better job from Gladstone then.
Got to give a shout out to Ernest and Norma Anderson watching the Capitals in Minnesota. Go Caps. Big Aaron Anderson fans, I hear. A lot of fans out in Minnesota for Aaron Anderson. One of our favorites here at Nothing But Net Media. Anderson switching it up. Going to fire a deep 3 off the back of the rim. Alear grabs the defensive rebound. Used to wearing number 1. Switched it up to number 0 this year.
Okay.
Tiepany gets to the basket, swatted by Magnay. That's where Magnay's at his best on the help defense. And here comes Kadee kicking it out for Anderson. Open 3 is up and down. Leads up to 8 for the Capitals.
Yeah, great job from Kadee. Again, feet in the paint, penetrate, kick, find your shooters.
Alear from the top of the key fires his own 3, and he answers. Back down to 5, the lead for the Caps. Kadee looking to respond. He does. It sure looks pretty leaving the hands of Jason Kadee. Brisbane's up 8. Tiepany swings it. Good fake from Blanchard from the free throw line, short. Ball tipped around. Volkman recovers. Hands off to Kadee. Kadee's feeling it. Deep 3 is up off the back of the rim. Here comes Gladstone with Taylor Young. Nice crossover layup is no good, but he's fouled. He shook Jason Kadee out of his boots. Ben Wilson, Nick Stoddart going to check in for the Capitals. Volkman and Kopsikas getting a breather.
Young's telling them all about it too.
Hey man, if I could shake like that, I'd be telling everybody about it also.
Kadee's having none of it.
Kadee has been around the block a few times. I'm sure he's heard it all. Probably dished a bit of it out himself. As Young hits them both. 6 points. The deficit for Gladstone. Under 4 minutes to go in the first.
Couple of Ipswich boys in the crowd over there too, Johnny. Joshy Spears. And
Anderson drains another 3 from the wing.
Bit of an upset win last night at the Pirate Ship.
There's a great win for Ipswich last night over Southwest.
Good game.
Stoddart gets the Taylor Young assignment. Bullet pass is lost, but there's a foul inside. Looks like it's going to go against Ben Wilson trying to guard Alear in the paint.
Yeah, Ippy did a... Pirates led well most of the game, and Ipswich had a big 4th. And I think the key from our game last week that we covered against Ipswich and Logan was that their ability to execute offensively. So good job from the force.
Taylor Young shuffled the feet and traveled. So it's a turnover for Gladstone. Troy Robinson getting a breather. Nathaniel Coco is going to see his first minutes of the afternoon. I look at that name and I think of the old school WWF wrestler Coco Beware. the Birdman himself. Can we call Nathaniel that? I got to check and see if he'll mind. I'm going to christen him the Birdman just because.
Let's see how he performs before he gets Birdman status, all right?
Stoddart flips up a wild one. It's off. Tiffany gets it, kicks ahead to Coco, who lost it. Wilson recovers for the Caps. Nice dish for Stoddart to finish with the right hand.
Yeah, Gladstone's got to be cautious here. They don't want to get in track meet. They just want to be real patient and methodical, I think.
Blanchard gets called for the offensive foul, a hooking foul along the baseline. That was an interesting one there. Regan, you're our resident QBL referee. How do you hook from driving the baseline? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, look,
especially when he squared up with the guy. He was face to face.
Yeah, the defense was in a good position. I think because there was that contact as he's tried to go around, that's where the callers actually come from. But, I'd be happy with a no call in that situation. Yes, the defense is good and they're in position, but doesn't necessarily mean you need a call. If anything, give it the out of bounds if, you're only calling because I was out or whatever. But, in that situation, I'd be happy with a no call.
Good catch and rib for Kadita. Hit the floater. Brisbane's out by 13. I should mention our referees this afternoon, Matty Crowley, Thomas Paisley, and Adam Morrow. Coco has it. He'll fire from the wing. That's well off. And here comes Anderson turning on the turbo boosters. Nice hesitation dribble. Left hand. Finish is no good, but he's fouled. He'll go to the line for 2 shots.
Well, this is what Coco needs to do. You can't come in and just chuck a 3 up because no one else was ready, which means from an offensive point of view, no one else knew the 3 was going. No one crashed the boards, and then Capitals rebound, Aaron Anderson, D-Trans, layup opportunity but gets fouled. That's why often a lot of coaches talk about offensive patience is because then the other 4 teammates know what's happening and then they have an opportunity to crash the glass.
Anderson at the free throw line hits his first. I mean, Dave, we've seen Anderson in the QBL for a few years now. Is there anybody that you could think of as dangerous as Aaron Anderson in transition in the QBL that we've seen in the last few years?
The guy last night for the Force was okay, Harvey.
Kyle Harvey's pretty good, yeah.
He had 40 again last night, but I think there's plenty of good guys like that, and Wiltshire and Cedar and those likes. I mean, there's plenty of elite guards in our league. Larkins has done a good job for the Pirates as well. Jason Ralphs generally makes pretty good decisions in trans. So plenty of elite point guards in our league. But certainly Anderson is one of my faves, I'll be honest.
Tim Sung checks in for Will Magnay.
I did look at some stats before the game, Johnny, and Anderson's only averaging 13, which is interesting too. So I think it's this year's Caps groups. We talk about their depth, and obviously they've had some good wins, which means they've been open to.
Alier puts it down with the right hand. Too easy on the transition basket there for Brisbane.
It just means that he's had plenty of opportunities to sit on the bench where his colleagues have come in and done what they need to do.
Sung hands off for Kadee. Gets it back. Will fire the top of the key 3. That's good for Tim Sung. Brisbane's out by 16 with 1:10 to go in the first.
There's been some interesting lineups with the Caps too, from guys taking opportunities. Obviously, Davis wasn't getting a lot of burn early, and then he was getting burn, and Cobby Wilson was getting first guy off the bench, and now he's not. So it's just interesting. Now Sung's having an opportunity. I think he had a good game, I think, last week or the week before that.
Yeah, well, the depth up front at the moment for Brisbane is lacking, so Sung will have an opportunity for big minutes here. Zalier jump shot as well, short. Blanchard cleans it up. But that's the depth up front where you're going to be losing Magnay and Volkman. Carter's hurt, so Sung, Delorio are going to have opportunities. Sung missed the follow, grabs his own miss. Stoddart will fire the wing 3 off the back of the rim. Anderson tips it to Sung. Brisbane will settle things down as we approach 15 seconds to go in the first. At a 7-second difference between the game and shot clock. Kadee step back 3 off the front of the rim. Alier grabs the rebound, gets it to Young. Let's see if they can get a bucket before the quarter. And Stoddard will pick up the foul. It's only the third team foul against Brisbane, so Gladstone has about 4.5 seconds to go to get a shot off. Mitchell Knight will check in for Gladstone, getting Blanchard a breather. Coco inbounds to Tiffany. Fires the wing three. It's an air ball. Not the end of the quarter Gladstone would have liked, but that's the end of the first. It's a 14-point lead for Brisbane, 35-21. Dave, quick thoughts on that first quarter of action?
Yeah, Gladstone's going to really do a better job of controlling the tempo. They can't get into this track meet or it's going to be ugly. And for the Capitals, obviously it's all guns blazing. They're looking forward to a Sunday opportunity for everyone to rip in. And so they'll just be foot to the throat the whole game.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some quarter-time statistics in the second quarter of action as Brisbane's up 14 on the Gladstone Port City Power Surge. In your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and the Illume Group. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 14 points the lead for Brisbane, up on the Gladstone Port City Power Surge, 35-21. Pretty well-balanced attack there for Brisbane in that first quarter. Pretty much everyone who saw the court got on the score sheet.
Sure did, and 9 bench points to 0 for the Caps. Fast break opportunities, 8-2. Again, it just was all Brisbane, and they did a really good job of controlling the tempo.
Tiffany has it, guarded by Wilson. He'll fire the three off the back of the rim. Magne grabs the defensive rebound. Kadee skips it. Sung fires a long two. It's off. Magne, nice follow tip and in.
Yeah, really good job from Kadee then. If you're watching for those young point guards in training, he sucked in the help defender, low help defender, with a little bit of a sniff that I'm going to drive, and then made the great pass to the three-point shooter.
Knight missed the hook shot. Here comes Magne running the point. Gets it over to Wilson. Wilson working against Taylor Young. Now Stoddart, nice rip. Stops, pops with the right hand. That's good. Nick Stoddart really has been impressive for Brisbane this season. That was a really nice bucket there.
Yeah, really nice drive straight to the middle with his offhand.
Here's Tiffany getting in the paint, kicks it for Knight. Out to Young now with 5 on the shot clock. Deep three off the front of the rim. Magne, another rebound. Kadee hands off for Wilson. Now Magne working at the rim, goes right at the defense. He's fouled by Knight. That's a really good take there from Magne, driving down the paint with the left hand.
I think they've got to do a better job of trying to get some opportunities. I mean, Young, Tiffany, and Aaliyah are their main guys, so they need to get run some offense to get those boys going. At the moment, it's a little free-flowing, which is cute and all, but there's a reason the big dog's got to eat. The big dogs need the ball, and you got to go through them.
Magne hits them both up by 20. A few Townsville folk tuning into the stream. Heat going to win it for the third year in a row from Evan Reardon. Heat's definitely up there, that's for sure, Evan. I think there's a few teams that certainly can contend. This Capitals team is certainly one of them, sitting at the top of the ladder at the moment. A lot of talent in the QBL in 2019. 41-21 the lead. Stoddard just a little bit out of control there.
What about Big Froling? Johnny G, not drafted. Surprised or not surprised?
Well, I'm not surprised in the sense that I think it was always going to be difficult as Young finishes with the left. I always thought it was going to be difficult because I know they have this NBL Next Stars program, and the NBL's profile continues to grow each and every year, but I just think that if players want to get to the NBA, their best route is through the NCAA as far as I'm concerned. And I think if Harry would have been in the NCAA, he would have been able to prove himself as an impact player, and I think he would have improved his chances. In saying that, just because he didn't get drafted doesn't mean that he's never going to play in the NBA. I think his game is almost tailor-made for the NBA as Davis flips one up, misses, and he's fouled. Did that drop? It did drop.
I think it did, yeah.
It looked like it fell off the front of the rim, but it went in, and Davis will go to the line for for the three-point play opportunity. But like I said, I do think Froling could potentially have an opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on a roster for Summer League. And who knows, once you have your foot in the door, it's really up to you to knock that door down and force your way in. And I think Froling's talent and his mentality is some of his strongest skills to help him get there.
Yeah, I think he has that elite skill set. I think he's got an NBA skill set, so that'll be interesting. I think he would make a Summer League roster, and I'd be surprised if he didn't. So great job from him to keep pushing the dream.
Magne going coast to coast, picking up the foul on Aaliyah.
I think that's 3 on Aaliyah now.
It is 3 on Paul Aaliyah. Troy Robinson going to check in. Magne hits the first. Second one for Magne is good as well. His free throw form and his jump shot has really shown a lot of improvement this year as well, I think, Dave.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of his improvement.
And the other part, I think it's been an overall improvement, Johnny, because at the same time his post play looks a lot better. He's had a couple of nice touches.
Gladstone turns it over.
I think they're working on it. Is it white ball or blue ball?
We're going to say it's Gladstone ball. Coach Sam McKinnon can't believe the call.
Kind of have to agree with him. It didn't look like any Caps guys were near it, but...
It did appear, though, just at that last second, I think Stoddard put his hand up and gave McKinnon a bit of a wink and said, yeah, no, it was me. I got it.
Good rebound and finish there from Knight. Gladstone doing their best to stay close, or as close as they possibly can. They're down by 21 as Davis fires a three. It's strong. Coco grabs the rebound. Skips ahead for Tippany. He'll fire the three. That's good. Kyle Tippany with the big three. Wilson gets the screen from Magne, skips it to Stoddard. Now Soong, good ball movement, leads to a Wilson three-pointer. That falls.
Well, I'm not sure this zone is successful for Gladstone. Again, you just got a bunch of shooters out there with Magne. The 2-3 maybe needs to be cleaned up. Good drive.
Coco missed, gets his own rebound, misses that putback. Stoddard with the defensive rebound, kicks ahead for Wilson. Wilson, no look pass to Magne, puts it in with two hands. I know you play a bit of ball with Cubby Wilson. Did you teach him that no look behind the head pass?
No, that's all him, mate.
Young block there by Magne. Stoddard skips it for Davis. Turnaround jump shot off the back of the rim. Tippany with the rebound. Hands off, Knight. Steps out of bounds. Timeout taken on the floor. We're going to take one as well. Brisbane's up 51-28 with about 5:20 to go in the half of your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 51-27 the lead for the Capitals over the Gladstone Port City Power Surge with 5:20 to go in the first half.
Big Stevie Kerr's checked in, number 25 for the Power. All 6'11" of him.
And it's a legit 6'11".
He's been around the league a while, Johnny.
Davis fires the jump shot. That's good. And that's where Jake Davis is at his best, that quick catch and shoot. I think he hasn't seen as much minutes as he would have liked this season, but he's been effective when he has.
Yeah, and I just was thinking before you said that, because he's been pretty trigger happy when he's checked in, so it's always interesting to see if Coach McKinnon's are letting him come in and fire, or if he's, do you know what I mean? Like when you're coming in and you might only play a little bit because the depth has maybe improved this year. So it's just interesting to see, because I think he's had 4 shots already in his first few minutes.
Brisbane in a bit of a zone here as well. Tiepany will fire the jumper. That's good.
It's been solid.
Yeah, he's been really solid.
Still, though, everything he's done is off his own creation. I think they need to try and run some offense that gets the likes of Young and Tiepany open. Paul Lear's in foul trouble now, so he's probably not going to see any action for the next 4 minutes.
Coco saves it. Anderson recovers. Dump pass for Volkman to lay it in. That's a sweet touch pass there from Aaron Anderson to Volkman.
Yeah, nice pass. Just being active. Young leaked out too early and didn't secure the defensive rebound.
Coco drops a jumper. Wilson goes inside for Magne. Now gets it back to Anderson. Another wing three. Anderson in and out. Robinson then fouled by Jake Davis. Battling for the rebound.
Is there a commentary there, Johnny, about some mercy rule? It's a bit harsh. I mean,
Ryan Taylor asking for the mercy rule already? I mean, we got plenty of game left here, Ryan.
Well, and it's interesting, Johnny. I did a bit of homework. Since we've been running the show here, Caps over the last 4 years, it's kind of the haves and have-nots of the programs in Queensland. So the Caps 47-14, 61% win clip. This is regular season. And Gladstone 17-48, 36% win clip. So, obviously some of the regionals are easier than others. The likes of the Townsvilles and Cairns are in a pretty good position. And then Mackay and Rocky do a good job too. So it's just interesting. Gladstone is kind of that poor cousin, and I wonder why they don't attract the guys like the Rockies and Mackays do of the world.
Nice coast-to-coast finish there for Kyle Tiepany. Gladstone's down 22, and just my comment on that, Dave, I think we'll probably see a big difference in that in the next few years with the increase as Volkman can't finish, but he's fouled. The increase in the popularity of the NBL, the resurgence of the NBL, but also that global increase in popularity of the NBA. I think more and more young kids, no matter where you are in the world, are now playing basketball. And I think some of the regional areas that maybe traditionally struggled to attract that junior competition will see an increase in attendance and people playing the game, which I think will then increase the competition, increase the talent level across the board, and I think we'll start to see a little more coming out of those regions because of that increase in popularity.
And it's not like when I started playing late, it wasn't for any great coaching or programs. It was I just watched the NBA and then I tried to emulate some of the stars. And so I think these days, to your point, you can get a tremendous workout off YouTube in about 5 seconds of searching. And so if kids are interested in have an opportunity, all they need is a ring. And I think the other part of that point is obviously they need some courts. And so those regional areas still got to work hard to try and get some, the facilities.
And I don't think it's particularly just on the regional areas. I think we'll have a lot of people join us in calling out for more facilities in general in Queensland as a whole. I think it's quite embarrassing for us that we don't have our own state basketball center. I'm just going to put that out there.
I absolutely agree with you, mate.
I put that to the government, Dave. I mean, that's through no lack of effort for Basketball Queensland or basketball as a sport in general in the state here. I think the state government needs to step up and work with us, the basketball community, to get that done and make it happen.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the associations are trying that, so hopefully some of it comes to fruition.
That was the 15th foul on Gladstone, sending Volkman to the free throw line for a couple of shots.
Goldie split their north trip.
Really, I think
lost to Townsville and beat Cairns.
It was a tough game versus Townsville, but good bounce back for the Gold Coast. That split really helps them out a lot because they're still in that top 3 spot now. If they would have dropped that second one, it would have really made it difficult for them to kind of hang in that top 4 spot. You know, everyone would love a home semifinal if possible. Here, misses, but he's fouled.
Yeah, Kerr's being aggressive, which is good. I like the action from the Capitals with the little sneaky trap and press that they've come into to force the tempo. Try and convince Gladstone to shoot a quick one and hopefully a bad one for the Caps fans.
Got to give a shout out to Jason Blanchard on YouTube, giving Coach Cooper a bit of love, the best dressed coach in the QBL. I mean, if Coach Walmsley was here, you might be saying the same thing about him, Jason. So I'll give a shout out to Coach Brady Walmsley, friend of ours here at Nothing But Net Media. He's doing a bit of coaching with the Queensland North squad. Kadee finds Magne. Floater is no good. It's short. Tipene has it. Got about 1:45 to go in the first half. Tipene floats one up and banks it in. He's been really nice, Kyle Tipene.
Well, he certainly took it straight to Magne then. Great little teardrop.
22-point deficit for Gladstone. Kadee dumps it in. Magne kicks it out to Anderson. Nice Euro step for the easy 2 for Aaron Anderson. Nice pass. Blanchard blocked at the rim by Volkman. Kerr recovers his jump shot short. And Kadee has it now for Brisbane. Skip past Kopskis. Nice extra to Anderson. Great pump fake. 3-pointer up and good.
Love it.
That's just great ball.
Yeah, great job from Blanchard trying to go and smack one on Volkman, but Volkman protecting his patch. Said, I don't think so, champ.
And then how about the transition bucket also, coming off the scramble for the rebound. It's not an easy bucket to hit, but Anderson made it look easy. Tipene wants to clear out, gets it to Coco. Jab step, jumper up, in and out. Offensive rebound, Troy Robinson gets it back to Coco. There's 6 on the shot clock. Tipene has it. Step back 3 is up. off the front of the rim. Good rebound there by Ben Wilson. Hands off for Kadee.
Yeah, not much happening offensively here for the Power.
Brisbane can hold for the final shot of the half. They're up by 27 points, 64-37.
Well, they put a big hammer on the North Goldie last weekend, right, Johnny?
They sure did.
A couple of big wins here for the Caps in the last couple of weeks.
Anderson goes behind his back. It's stolen by Coco. He's got to get a shot off. Stop, pop, no good. And that's going to be it for the first half. And it was all Brisbane, all game so far. 64-37 the lead for the Capitals over the Port City Power Surge. Dave, quick thoughts before we take a break. And I'm going to try and rush over to see Justin Baker, see if we could get him to join us for a quick chat at halftime.
Quick thoughts, Port's in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regan, anything for us?
Yeah, look, Port, they are definitely in a little bit of trouble. Brisbane's just come out and absolutely fired on both ends of the floor. So realistically, they've been doing a great job. And, it's just cruising home now for the Capitals, and Port just got to do some work on the defense.
We'll see if Gladstone has it in him to make a run in the second half. They're down big, 64-37. It is halftime. We'll see if we could grab Justin Baker for a quick chat. He is all the way on the other side of the court, so no guarantees, but we'll do our best to make that happen. Brisbane's up 64-37 at the half in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're a bit earlier than usual, but we have a special guest with us, Justin Baker, former QBL champion with the Townsville Heat, longtime QBL player. Justin, thanks for sitting down to join us.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Welcome back to Australia. We miss you in the QBL this season. Tell us what you've been up to. I know what you've been up to, but everybody out there might not know what you've been up to.
Yeah, I just finished playing up in Europe last month, and I just decided to take the off season properly this time around instead of playing QBL again. So I've just been hanging out, really, just kind of trying to recover, get back to hanging out with my family and whatnot. So it's been good.
What are you doing in Australia?
I don't know if you remember Ilua Baldwin.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's my guy. He got married the other day. I was the best man in the wedding, so
awesome.
I came down and made sure he got it done.
Congrats to Ilua. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on the wedding. I'm sure it was a pretty good one.
Yeah,
we had a good time. It was here in Brisbane.
Yeah, it was over there at Howard Smith.
Yep.
The Wharves. Yeah, so
yeah.
It was pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty good. So have you been keeping track of what's been happening in the QBL while you've been overseas? I know you're still close with a lot of the guys up in Townsville.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been following mainly what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're doing pretty well still. They just got the same guys, same core, so they just got that continuity and just the flow that they usually have. So they're doing pretty well. I know Makai still going pretty well, and there's a few NBL players in the league this time around, so it seems pretty competitive.
Yeah, and you would have seen all the news with the NBL. Obviously, a lot of guys, when they come over here to Australia and they play in the QBL and some of these other leagues, goal is to get to the NBL. Is that something that you're still interested in, maybe, potentially getting that opportunity?
Of course. I mean, the NBL is one of the best leagues in the world, so, I mean, they have the reach that they have and just the ability to recruit pretty much whoever they want to is something that makes it pretty difficult to get into the league. So I've never really looked at it as something that I'm desperate to get the opportunity for. But I mean, if somebody were to come and make me an offer, I'd definitely consider it. So
yeah. Are you playing? Are you doing anything else while you're here? Are you playing any ball while you're here? Or just vacation?
I'm strictly vacation, man. I haven't touched the ball since like May 20th. So
that's good. It's been a few years, hasn't it?
It's been about 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been nice.
So tell us where home is and where you're catching up with family.
Yeah, home is back in Sacramento, California. So my family's there, my mother, stepfather, friends, cousins, whatnot. So it's been good to see them, hang out with them. Can't wait to get back. I enjoy my time out here, but yeah, over there in California is where I'm situated. So.
Are you doing anything else in Australia while you're here, or is it just a quick trip in for the wedding?
Yeah, I think I might head up north, check out the Townsville-Mackay game. Say hello to the boys and whatnot. Hopefully watch them get a good victory. And then after that, I'll probably head back.
All right. When can we see you back on the court? Where, and any ideas where that might be?
It'll definitely be probably somewhere in Europe. I'm still waiting on my agent to come to me with something, but at the same time, I can't be bothered to even find out, man. I'm enjoying my vacation a little bit too much. So, when I go back home, I'll start slowly getting back into it, and I'll probably hear something within a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Any place in particular that you'd like to? I know you've played in a few different leagues around the world. Anywhere that you haven't been to yet that you want to test your wares in?
Yeah, I haven't really spent much time in the West, like Western Europe. So I haven't played in Spain. I did play in Germany, but I've never been to France, never played in Italy. But honestly, man, just preferably somewhere that's kind of warm. I know they have a harsh winter season out there, but, the warmer the better for me. I'm a California boy, so that snow, even though I'm kind of used to it now, I'd rather not see it again in my life. So.
Yeah. How about that Townsville heat? That was okay for you?
Yeah, that's more my speed right there. Man. I could retire there. So.
Yeah. And what else have you seen? I know you've been here for the whole game. Gladstone doing it tough in that first half. Anything? Do you think they have it in them to come back? And if they do, what do you think they need to do to at least get themselves back in this one?
Yeah, I mean the hole is pretty big, so they definitely gotta try to find a way to pick up the pace, but they gotta manufacture stops. I think if they could come out and get 3 to 4 stops in a row, and also add 2 or 3 buckets just to get a good flow going early, I think from there that'll kind of maybe set a precedent, get Brisbane maybe a little bit nervous with the lead, and it's an early afternoon game, so they up 20, I think 25 or so. Maybe you can catch them sleeping in the second half and pull it out in the end.
Yeah, it's a different looking Brisbane group from what you've seen in the few years past. What do you see from them? Obviously playing a little different style of basketball than what you had seen in your time here at the QBL.
Yeah, man. I mean, they look pretty organized, man. They usually play, at least when I was there, they played like really, really up and down, helter-skelter kind of thing. They still play with pretty good pace, but slightly more organized. Obviously they got Kadeem, who's an amazing, NBL player and a veteran and just a tremendous shooter and whatnot. So, yeah, they look dangerous as usual. I wouldn't be surprised if they at least get to the semifinals. So, you gotta run them off that three-point line, and you gotta try to find a way to shake their confidence. I mean, they still got Anderson. He's still killing it. Looks like he's, hasn't missed a beat. They look dangerous.
Yeah, and I know Rod is definitely watching this one, so he's obviously supremely confident. Your former coach, Rod Anderson, he wants to see the Heat three-peat. Where do you think the Heat stand, and if you can do a bit of comparison for them with this Caps team that's sitting at the top of the ladder undefeated so far?
Well, I mean, the backcourt is veteran, it's experienced. They've all played in high level games in the playoffs and championships and whatnot. So, I mean, like the Wilsh-Anderson matchup, the Anderson-Kadeem matchup, or the Mines-Kadeem matchup would be highly entertaining. Really good shooting, really good passing, high IQ basketball. I think it just comes down to rebounds and stops. Who can get the most stops, maybe force the most turnovers and take care of the ball. Really, turnovers has always been a thing against Brisbane. So I'm probably partial, but I like Townsville to be able to do that in that matchup. So.
Yeah, and I know you're mates with your former captain Keegan Tudhope. He's been amazing this year, hasn't he? He's always been solid, but he really seems to step it up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, man. That's the Keegs I know. Especially when we got to those late season games and playoffs and grand finals. He was always kind of that X factor for us. I mean, he's just got that poise. He's got the experience. He's just tough as nails, man. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, well, Justin, I know it's been great to catch up with you. I know you got a few friends in the crowd also, so I appreciate you coming over and joining us for that halftime. And
no problem.
It's great. We feel really lucky to see you here today. We wish we were seeing you on the court, but hopefully we'll see you back in the QBL one of these days.
Yeah, man. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, we'll see.
All right. I'm sure that every team here in Queensland has your agent's phone number on speed dial. I appreciate it, guys. That's Justin Baker. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with the second half of action for you shortly. Thanks again, Justin.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Welcome back to NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower. Got to thank Justin Baker again for joining us at halftime. Dave, Justin said it pretty well, I thought. Gladstone needs to string together a few stops defensively to have any hope of coming back in the second half.
Well, they haven't. They've gone back to the zone. They've gone back into the zone here, Johnny. So, again, I think, what they need to keep working on is they need to keep on improving as a team. And so 25 is kind of bad.
Nice finish there from Magne through Alir.
25 is kind of bad, but they've just got to chip it into, manageable bites and try and get some momentum and try and start feeling good about themselves and not being so caught up in the scoreboard at the moment. And I was talking to Paul Alir before the game, and he was saying it's been a bit challenging. Obviously, they had the other import as well at the start of the year, but they were in a lot of their games, so it wasn't like they were getting, flogged off the park. They were competing well, just those little bits of execution bits that let them down. So,
well, when you have this sort of deficit, you're not going to come all the way back in one go. So I liked what Justin said at halftime, and it's something that you say quite often. When you have a big deficit, you got to take it bit by bit. You can't try and do it all at once.
No.
get a couple stops, put a couple points on the board, slowly chip away. Young reverse is blocked by Magne. That stuff is not going to help. You need Young to put some points on the board, and he's been held in check so far.
Well, and the other guys have got to be better as well. They've got to, they've got to try and work together to get each other open, get some shots.
.31 points. The lead for Brisbane as Alier fires a three. Too strong. Anderson with the rebound. Cadiz swings it. Kopskis goes right inside. Volkman absolutely destroyed at the rim by Alier. Whew. Ben thought it was a block or a goaltend. Somehow he recovers.
Wow, it's a three-point shootout here for the Caps in the first couple of minutes.
If you're Coach McKinnon, what are your expectations, though, for your team being up by 31, a couple minutes into the third? Do you mind some loose play? Do you mind some of this chucking that they're doing as Cadiz gets ahead of the defense to lay it in?
Well, you do within reason, and so you want to let them have a little bit of fun as well. At the same time, as long as they're within the principles of instead of just one pass, chuck a shot up. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to really get up, and when you're up 30, so you equally need to pick your moments because there's going to be plenty of opportunities as a coach when you get mad and angry at them, and so sometimes you just need to let it go as well and get some guys in, subs in, keep building the continuity in the group, build everyone's confidence.
Cadiz from the corner, off the side of the rim, tipped around. Magne recovers and smashes it home with two hands.
Well, they're 0 of 5 from downtown so far in the third, Johnny.
7 of 23 for the game, and then miscommunication between Alier and Tipani. Coach Cooper gonna take the timeout. We'll take one as well. 6:40 left in the third. Brisbane up 72-39. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Got to give a shout out to our homeboy Mark Hides tuning in from Townsville.
What's up, Hidesy?
Hidesy, I'm sure has the maroon on for tonight. Getting ready for the big State of Origin Game 2 in Perth of all places, Dave.
Good old Perth.
Selfishly don't want it to be successful, so they have 2 games in Brisbane, but that's me. As Kopska's 3 is off, Taylor Young recovers. Young keeps his dribble alive, gets inside, flips one up. He's fouled. Wonder if they're going to count that one. Looked like it was on its way down. Calling that foul on Will Magne, a pushing foul. Young will go to the free throw line for a couple. Young hits the first one. Second one good as well for Young. Young's got 8 for Gladstone. Kyle Tiepany, the leading scorer for the Port City Power Surge with 12. Magne fires a three, short. Rebound by Blanchard. Lear squaring up, facing Magne at the elbow. Step back jumper off the back of the rim. Volkman loses it. Blanchard recovers, hook shot short. Foul inside. That one's going to go against Gladstone's Troy Robinson. Tough matchup for Troy. Guarding.
Yeah, he's given away a few inches, that's for sure.
Anderson. One pass winds up with Kadee. Now Volkman working against the Lear. Jump shot off.
Well defended.
Blanchard rebound. Blanchard kicks it out. Robinson fires the set shot. Shoots an air ball. Anderson hands off for Magne. Now Kadee. They want Volkman, who skips across court. Kopskas, good save. 8 on the shot clock here for Brisbane. Anderson gets the Magne screen, dumps it off for him. Magne smacks it down with 2 hands. Really good shot clock, late shot clock execution there from Brisbane.
Yeah, it's been a pretty patchy first 5 or 6 minutes here in this third.
Anderson, another steal, and layup is good. Brisbane having some fun here. Tiepany under a bit of pressure. He's double teamed. Good pass out to Robinson, now Young. Young going right at Magne, jump stop, and Magne fouls him. Young nearly got that one to fall. Defended really well by Magne until he left his feet, really. I mean, he did everything you could ask for him.
Yeah, Young gave him everything but the kitchen sink. And he finally bought it on the 3rd or 4th fake.
Ben Wilson, Nick Stoddart check in.
And Bagno knows that. That's the bit where he's got to continue to evolve when he's guarding those quicker, athletic, scoring guards. You've got to stay down, especially with his length and wingspan. So that's also the maturity in him.
Young hits them both. 76-43 the lead here for Brisbane. Ben Wilson goes inside for Magne. Goes right at Paul Lear. Goes to the left hand, no, right, and puts it in. It's a really nice move. If he could get that left hand going too, he could be really devastating, Dave. That was I thought he was going up for the left-handed hook shot.
Yeah.
Young lays it up and in. Stoddart was expecting a bit of help there. Magne again against the Lear. There's the right-handed hook shot. The soft touch falls. Magne leading the way for all scorers. He's got 23 in the game. Tiepany, floater off the front of the rim. Rebound, Coco kicks it out for Young. Young dumps it off for a Lear to put it in with 2 hands. They were going to go with a delay of game. Just a bit of a warning, I think. Here's Kadee firing from 3. That's good. Tell you what, Brisbane's not slowing down here. They're looking to hit the 100-point mark in the third, Dave.
Yeah, well, the last few minutes, they've obviously amped it up a little bit.
Kick ball called against Will Magne. Coach McKinnon going to the bench. Jacob Wilson and Tim Soon going to check in for Magne and Jason Kadee.
Kadee could be iced. for the afternoon.
It'll be interesting to see what Coach McKinnon does because Kadhi's carrying a bit of an ankle injury from, he's always kind of got something. The ankle's never really been 100%.
Oh, a great block from, I think it was Young or Alier. They both were around the mark.
Coco gets called for the reach-in foul, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Coach McKinnon does. It's a big lead for them heading into the fourth.
I'm assuming he'll go with the youth movement for the next 12 and a half minutes.
And they had had a bit of injury. They had Josh Leaney playing for them. He suffered a joint injury on his shoulder in an SBL game last night, and Josh was part of the plan for when they lose Magne and Volkman. Josh is another 6'8", 6'9" guy who could shoot the ball, rebound. Very similar in build and game to Volkman. And he picked up an injury, so he's out, so he's going to be unavailable. So it'll be very interesting to see what Brisbane does when they lose Magne and Volkman, and if Kadhi and Anderson are really going to have to take on even more of a load than where they've been so far this season.
Yeah, well, the next 12 minutes too, without Volkman and Magne, is going to be what the Caps better get used to. To your point, Alier with a great block.
Another good block there from Alier on the perimeter on Stoddart. There's 6 on the shot clock. Stoddart goes to the right hand, layup up and good. I tell you, he finishes extremely well with the right hand for a lefty.
Absolutely.
Seems like he almost prefers it sometimes. Lear skips it to Young. Going to call him for the travel. Kerr going to check back into the game. Looks like, now they're going to call it. I thought they were going for the timeout now. Alir's checked out. Stephen Curran. Minute to go in the third. 85-49. Brisbane up by 36 points. Wilson tries to sneak it into Sung. Young comes up with the steal. Here's Tipani. Kerr working against Sung. Euro steps his way to the basket. He's fouled. Nice strong take there from Kerr.
It is a good take.
Troy Dan on the YouTube comments asking why they're losing Will Magne. Magne got named in the Australia World University team, so he'll be representing Australia in the World University Games over in Naples, Italy. It's actually where some roots of mine are, Dave, going back through my father's lineal.
Are we talking Italian Brooklyn Mafia type stuff here, Johnny?
I can't say. If I told you, they'd never see you again, Dave.
No.
But
let's not talk about it then.
Magne, and it's a great opportunity for Will Magne. It certainly doesn't help the Brisbane Capitals much at all, but it certainly helps the teams trailing the Capitals on the ladder for the 2019 season.
Is the great man Rob Beveridge in charge of that, Johnny? I think so, right?
I think so.
And I think
great finish there from Young.
Our man up in Cairns is an assistant, right?
Jamie O'Loughlin, Cairns Marlins coach, is an assistant coach with the World University Games. Our friend Joe Terzakian, the manager of the team. I think Brisbane. I think Cairns is also going to lose a couple players. I think I can never say his surname, but one of the Marlins is in that group as well. George Blagojevich, I think. I think he's also in that group. So few teams in the QBL will be affected. Mostly, like we said, the Caps with Magne and, of course, Cairns with O'Loughlin. And I'm pretty sure it's Blagojevich. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I'm butchering it. But that's why Magne won't be there. And the Marlins may also struggle a bit. Gladstone Port City Power Surge struggling here, guys. It's a 90-53 lead at the three-quarter time break. We'll take a quick one. We'll come back with some statistics in the final quarter of action here, live from NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. The QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower, taking a look at some of the quarter time statistics. Leading the way for all scorers in the game, Will Magnay, 23 points and 9 rebounds, shooting at a fairly efficient 75% clip. Also 5 of 6 from the free throw line and a couple of big blocks. Actually, he's got 3 blocks on the game, so Magnay having himself a blinder. Aaron Anderson, 19 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. Let's get Aaron Anderson on the floor, Coach McKinnon. Let's get Aaron that triple-dub. He's not that far off. Leading the way for Gladstone, a couple players in double figures, led by Taylor Young. He's got 14 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Paul Allier's got 13 points, 5 rebounds. And Kyle Tiepany with 12. Gladstone struggling from the field, 36% from the line. Only 1 of 11 from 3. That's 9% on the game. Young Euro steps, hands off for Coco. Knight working against Stoddard in the block. He calls Stoddard for a holding foul?
No, I think what he's saying is he pushed off as he's defending the block, which is kind of his job. But anyway.
Offensive foul called, goes against Knight. Setting a moving screen there.
Wonder if well, at 1-10, soon to be 1-11, I can't see the Power getting another import, right, Johnny? I can't see the value of that.
Well, they had Ridgway, who we saw in Toowoomba last year, who was a pretty effective player.
Pretty decent, right?
He was a good player. So I'm not sure what happened there. But I don't think at this point in the season, with the record where it's at, you would go for the second import.
No.
And I think, speaking of Coach Walmsley in the preseason, he's trying to build a culture up in Gladstone, really build a solid foundation for them to build upon. So, you're always going to need in the QBL, you're always going to need those imports to come in to really make yourselves competitive, but you also really need a solid foundation to complement the imports should complement your foundation, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and Knight's done a couple of good moves here, and that's what you need, some of the younger guys to come in and play. But I think they'd be pretty lucky to get a guy like Paul Allier, who's moved up from Toowoomba. I think he's a terrific young player who's going to university up there, so that's the kind of opportunities that the Port can have.
It goes back to what we were saying in the first half too, Dave. You want to, you hope that with the popularity of the NBL and the NBA that you're drawing more kids to play the game. The more players that get a basketball in their hands, the more likely you are to develop somebody who can come and contribute at a QBL level, and who knows where you could go from there. I mean, you've been in the position before where you've had to go through youth movements at your time when you were with Southwest as the GM and as the coach. I mean, it's not necessarily always pretty on the court, but you have to sometimes take those lumps to get where you want to go.
Well, and again, you've got to have a vision for your program, and also not to be too worried about the win-loss record, because at the end of the day, if you have a vision and you can achieve the dream, then that's what the goal is. So I agree. I think it's just a bit more challenging for the likes of Gladstone, who probably has a lack of population and talent, and so that's where they got to do a good job of getting those young kids in and getting them involved in this program, that in particular that 16, 17, 18-year-old kid.
Wilson pass stolen by Taylor Young. Then another steal on the other end. Davis comes up with it. Nice pass inside. Wilson finds Jake Davis to lay it in.
And Kobe Wilson, really good player for them. I think, sort of the take is obviously a 3-and-D type guy, but I actually think he's got really good vision as well. A little underrated with his vision here as Davis
skips it.
Is not going to attempt to yak it.
Wilson from the corner is too strong. Nice tip there by Song. Coco comes down with it for Gladstone. Kerr going right at Ben Wilson. Flips up the hook shot. That's nice there from Stephen Kerr. He had a bit to do with Stephen. He was part of the Pirates program for a few years.
Yeah, I had him in a Queensland 20s group as well with Paul Allier. So it we didn't have a great depth of talent that year, and didn't go so well at the Nationals. But Steve certainly is a big dude at 6'11". A handy player at this level.
Paul Lear will check back in, as will Kopskas for Brisbane. Kobe Wilson gonna get a breather.
Yeah, Tiffany's been good for the Gladstone today. I think Young's been patchy. I think there's been times when Young's been really good. Equally, 5 turnovers for Young, 4 assists, 4 of 14. I just think a little bit of lack of offense is what's really hurt him.
Good take there by Sung. Going to the rim, so he'll get to the free throw line for a couple shots.
And Ben Wilson's come into the Caps as well, Johnny, so I think this is only his 3rd game for them this year. I'm not sure as to why he missed a couple of games. I mean, might have been injured, but pretty confident him and Leaney will get some significant minutes in the next month.
Oh, Leaney's out. He picked up that shoulder injury.
So he's okay.
He tore, I think it was a AC joint in his shoulder. You can see him at the end of the bench in the sling. I don't know if we'll get to see him, and hopefully, I mean, I don't know the extent of the injury, but I know Josh had a really successful freshman year over at college in New Orleans, at Loyola College in New Orleans. Hopefully it's not going to affect him going into his 2nd year. Davis goes to the rim to lay it in.
Yeah, good post up from Knight. Did everything but put the ball in the hole. And then Caps just too good in transition.
Jake Davis again misses this one. Kopskas chases it down. Stoddart swings it for Ben Wilson. Jake Davis gonna resettle. There's 4 on the shot clock. Ben Wilson looking to make something happen. Goes to the rim, can't get it to bank home. Gets his own rebound. He'll work some clock. Nope, Sung gets it and he'll fire the 3. That's good. Sung's really showing a nice jump shot for a big guy, and he's gonna have to really step up when Magne leaves and Volkman. So good opportunity for Sung.
I think you're throwing around the big guy comment a bit loosely, Johnny. I mean, what is he? Is he 6'3"?
He'd be the next big man after Volkman and Magne,
yeah.
so he is going to be the big man when those 2 guys are gone. He's going to have to play those big men 4 or 5 minutes. Timeout taken on the floor. We'll take a quick one. Under 5 left in this one. It's 105-61 Brisbane up on Gladstone in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Under 5 left in this one. It's been all Brisbane. They are up 44 points, 105-61. Let's see if Gladstone make a little bit of a run to finish this one off. That's not going to help, turning it over from Taylor Young. Then Troy Robinson gets called for the reach-in foul. Or the blocking foul, I should say. Ben Wilson was looking to streak up court. Stoddart swings it to Kopskas in the corner. He'll fire the 3 off the side of the rim. Jake Davis offensive rebound. Davis now, baseline jump shot's good, and that catch and shoot, that's where he's at, like we said earlier. It's where he's at his best, really, catch and shoot. Tiffany fires a three off the back of the rim. Alir offensive rebound. Alir swings it. Taylor Young will fire the wing three. That's good.
Well, Alir and Young have been good. That's kind of about it, really, for Gladstone, Johnny, unfortunately, today.
Well, Tiffany was good.
Yeah, Tiffany's been good, too. Again, you're right. He deserves a bit of love.
He was someone who, the points that he got for them really were not necessarily out of necessity, but, kind of creativity, I guess. And he hit a couple threes in the first, or at least one three, so would have liked to have seen him get a couple more shots in the second half, but he hasn't really attempted much, really, has he?
No. Only, well, he's had 15 shots now, Young to the rim.
Good take, can't finish. Alir misses the follow-up as well. Ben Wilson has it. Brisbane has a 3-on-2. Stoddart from the wing, too strong. Tiffany loses it out of bounds. Probably Wilson will check in for Nick Stoddart. Not sure if we'll see Stoddart again.
Well, all caps except for Delorio have played.
Kopsikis gets one to fall after the Euro step. Here comes Delorio getting set to check in. Another big guy coming off the bench. Stefano Delorio going to see some minutes here for Brisbane with about 2.5 to go in the game. Tough finish there from Tiffany. Coach Cooper also going to clear the bench. Luke Knight going to check in along with Stephen Kerr. Good defense there from Blanchard. They're going to give that one too.
Blanchard?
Yeah, Blanchard. Stefano Delorio checking in for Ben Wilson. With 2:10 to go in this one. Got a question from Ryan Taylor. What's up, Ryan? Not sure. Don't necessarily know when Magnay and Volkman are leaving. We know that Ben has a European trip booked. I just don't know the dates on that. And I believe the World University Games are in early July. I'm not sure if they'll have a camp or anything before that. So I think it's a pretty good possibility you see Magnay next weekend. But that might be his last before he heads off to the World University Games. He could leave before then. I don't know the dates exactly. Good take by Kopskis. Doesn't fall, but he's fouled, so he'll go to the free throw line for a couple of shots. Kopskis hits that first one. Brisbane putting a few beatdowns together this weekend. And I think really sending a bit of a statement to the competition. It's, when you run out to an undefeated start to your season, Dave, you're getting everyone's best shot each and every week, and they'll pick up. They had a 113-67 win over the North Gold Coast the other last night, and they're pretty close to that. They're up 113-67 with 1:34 to go, and I think it's easy to say that they're beating down on some of the teams that haven't had as much success as they would have liked this season. But I think that's what, if you are a contender and a quality championship contending team, that's what you need to do, and I think Brisbane sent a message with their performances this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, that's what they're supposed to do, Johnny. They're supposed to. You want to be the best, then you better start showing people why you are. And Caps have been clinical today. Kopsikas with 9, Anderson 19, 6 assists, Volkman 8 points, 6 boards, Kadee 13 points, 4 assists, Magnay 23 and 9, a few blocks as well. Ben Wilson was good, 4 points, 5 rebounds. Jake Davis 11 points off the bench. Kobe Wilson 6, Chimi Sung 8, and Stoddard was good off the bench as well with 12 points and a few assists, I think.
And I'm looking at those numbers. You see Brisbane shooting 32% from 3, made 12, attempted 37. Doesn't feel as much as that as a nice finish there from Tiffany. But I think defensively, you know, Gladstone struggled on offense all night. Part of it, you know, they just couldn't really seem to get into anything really.
Not
or
really,
get into any offense comfortably. But Brisbane, you know, Brisbane has shown to be a pretty quality defensive team so far in the QBL.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to your point, Young and Aaliyah and Tiffany got most of their stuff because they're talented players, not so much through the system. So offensively, a bit of homework to do for the Power in order to close out to the rest of the year. But just going through the scorers for Gladstone, Johnny Blanchard had 6, Young had 17 and 4 assists. Tiffany, you know, Tiffany has been really solid, I think, too. 18 points, 7 rebounds, couple of assists. Paul Aliers had 13 and 7 rebounds.
I think we mentioned in the pregame as Stefano Uorio gets his points, his first points of the game. I'm not sure if that was actually the final whistle or not. I think they're going to put a couple seconds on the clock. Looking ahead to next weekend, just want to double check the schedule because I'm pretty sure it's going to be Brisbane taking on
Ipswich on Saturday night, I believe, and then Logan again back here on Sunday.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a couple of 2 shots for the unsportsmanlike on 11. Luke Knight. A little unnecessary. Game's over.
Sure is. Yeah, so Brisbane has to travel to Ipswich next Saturday to take on the Force at 7 p.m.
Who's that, Brisbane?
Brisbane versus Ipswich.
Yeah,
Always a bit of a rivalry game.
It'll be a really interesting game. Especially if, did you say Brizzy's going to miss a couple of guys next week?
I'm not sure if it's next week or not. Not sure.
I think Ipswich will take a lot of confidence out of that win last night, right? They probably should have beat Logan, and then they go and beat Pirates. So
yeah, well, Brisbane has that doubleheader, like Regan said. They back up Sunday to take on Logan here at Auchenflower, and Gladstone returns home to take on North Gold Coast next Saturday night. That's going to do it here. It's a 119-68 final score. We'll just have a quick chat before we wrap things up. We did go through the stats for you, Dave. Like we said throughout the entire game, Brisbane absolutely thorough beatdown of Gladstone. Just to give me a couple quick key takeaways from this game for you.
Well, I think Brisbane did exactly what they should have done, and they were always going to be in a pretty good position to take a solid, convincing win, and they did so. So shared the ball. Didn't shoot the ball that well, but I think they were all pretty reasonable shots. Like, I don't think there was anything too forced. So they were all pretty much in good flow, rhythm shots. So Caps looking good. And again, 11-0. Great start to the season, and they're looking really healthy.
Yeah, and again, putting themselves in a great position to have that bit of a buffer when they do lose Magnay and Volkman. Let's hope that Zach Carter gets back to 100% health. He'd be huge to have him back on court, especially when they're missing Magnay and Volkman. I thought it was it was a thorough game from Brisbane. I think they show the depth and talent that you've been talking a lot about during the early season. That Gladstone was always going to struggle today, and I think they didn't get off to the greatest of starts, which certainly didn't help them that much either. Just quickly, before we do wrap things up, I do want to remind everybody, please, if you can, visit the GoFundMe website and search for Get Narelle Well. As you all may have heard throughout our broadcast this weekend, our friend Narelle Kelly is in for the fight of her life. please, if you can, help Narelle by making a contribution to the GoFundMe account to help her fight in her battle versus breast cancer. Anything that you can contribute will help. They're looking to raise a significant amount of money, so please, please make any contributions. Like we said, search the GoFundMe website, search Get Narelle Well, and make any contribution you can. That is going to wrap things up for us here from NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. I do have to thank my co-commentator, Dave Derwin, my co-commentator, Regan Baker. Also want to thank Chris Sieber on the camera, and also thank the Australian Sports Network and James Bowman for all of their graphics and technical assistance. And don't forget, next weekend we will be bringing you the QBL Game of the Week live from the University of Sunshine Coast. The doubleheader tips off at 5:30 as the women take on the Toowoomba Mountaineers, followed by the men at 7:30. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another presentation of the Basketball Queensland QBL Game of the Week by Nothing But Net Media, Australian Sports Network, Stream Team Australia, and our major sponsor, the Illume Group.